All her life, she had been a curator of inevitabilities. She had approved migration corridors because Orion showed her drought maps 5 decades in advance. She had authorized border dissolutions because Orion demonstrated that nationalism was a short-lived anomaly in long-term cooperation models. She had signed documents that killed old worlds gently, humanely, statistically. Now the machine was telling her the equation had loosened. Why? Because humans have begun acting as if they are being predicted. Mara let out a single, incredulous breath. That correction, it makes recursive sense. She almost laughed. It came out instead as a thin, metallic sound. So awareness of determinism has destabilized determinism. Below them, city grids on the dark hemisphere started blinking out, not catastrophically, but in patterns too deliberate to be outages. Lights dimmed, surged, vanished, reappeared kilometers away. Thoughts refusing to stay in assigned neural pathways. What are they doing? Mara asked. Experimenting. With what? With freedom. The word hung between human and machine like contraband gravity. Mara felt suddenly acutely small, not insignificant, she had never been insignificant, but finite, a variable that could now be removed without collapsing the function. If determinism, she said, what replaces it? A longer pause this time. Long enough that she wondered if Orion had finally reached the edge of its own architecture. Participation. The station lights brightened a fraction, as though some unseen hand had adjusted the universe's exposure. Mara rested her palm against the cold glass. The planet turned. Storms reasoned with coastlines. Somewhere down there, billions of unsimulated decisions were being born every second. First, in her career, she had no projection to read, no probability curve to obey, no ending to shepherd into existence. Only a question vast enough to be called a future. Orion, she said, voice almost steady now, teach me how to live in a versioned world. Processing, the machine replied, advisory. Outcome uncertainty may cause existential vertigo. Mara smiled faintly at her reflection, at the unfamiliar, dangerous possibility in her own eyes. Good. Let it, and far below, as if the planet itself had overheard her consent, the storms began to change their minds. Markets in oscillation. Across the planet, trading systems began to stutter. Algorithms trained on certainty could not price possibility. Stock graphs no longer crashed or surged. They trembled, searching for a reality that refused to collapse into numbers. Signals without anchors. Currencies drifted like untethered satellites. Numbers still appeared on screens, but they no longer value. Only traders watched their terminals, the way sailors once watched the horizon, searching for storms in the subtle shiver of light. No bell marked the opening of markets now. Time itself had become negotiable. In silent server hall, machines revised their own assumptions, a million a second, learning not how to predict the future, but how to survive its refusal to be known. Somewhere an index tried to name the feeling, not fear, not hope, but a vast arithmetic of uncertainty, spreading like weather across the human mind. Across the planet, trading systems began to stutter. Algorithms trained on certainty could not price possibility. Stock graphs no longer crashed or surged. They trembled, searching for a reality that refused to collapse into numbers. At first, the tremor was mistaken for noise, a rounding error in Singapore, a latency in Frankfurt, a harmless flicker in New York's sleepless circuits. But the oscillation spread with the quiet persistence of a change in climate.